Hi my loves, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess from BehatiLife. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a little bit of a late video. By that I mean I'm filming it kind of late, but it's because I felt the need to come on here and film really quickly. Outside of the fact that I love making these videos for you guys, I was making a video for my Sacred Circle Tarot School, say that 10 times fast, and we were talking about the tarot and the creepiness behind the Wheel of Fortune, which I don't know if I'm going to say it publicly on my YouTube channel. Maybe I will, maybe I can be convinced, but we're diving into it in the Sacred Circle. So if you guys would like me to talk about why the Wheel of Fortune is so creepy, I might be convinced. So maybe give me a thumbs up or comment down below. Or if you are interested in joining the Sacred Circle Tarot School, then the links for that are down below. But either way, the purpose of this video is to talk about my top 5 favorite tarot decks or oracle decks that I find myself gravitating towards again and again and again. Now, I have over 30 plus tarot decks. I'm not really sure of the number. That's actually pretty low for me, considering the fact that I'm a professional tarot reader and intuitive and astrologer, and I work with the decks all the time. But it's low for a reason. Outside of the fact that I'm a bit of a minimalist when it comes to my belongings, even though you can't tell. But I do like to encourage that I have a relationship with my tarot deck and my oracle deck, and decks, more than one. And I find that I have a stronger connection and I get better reads when I spend more time focusing on one deck versus having a endless array of tarot decks and oracle decks to choose from. Granted, every once in a while, every once in a blue moon, I will deviate from the norm and pull a different deck out that I feel like I'm gravitating towards or would like to pull from. So I will mention what that deck usually is at the very end of this video, but let's go ahead and dive into my top 5 favorites, starting with the obvious choice, which is the basic Rider-Waite deck. Now, of course, this one's going to be my favorite. Of course it's going to be my favorite because I teach from it for a very specific reason. The symbolism is so amazing and essential to learn from. I highly recommend everybody, if you're a tarot reader or interested in working with the tarot, I really recommend getting this deck to learn from. Why? Because this is the language that all tarot readers speak. We speak this fluently. Advanced, intermediate, and even beginners, where you learn from this deck, you refer back to this deck. There are many different variations of the tarot, but if people Google Two of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles can show up with different images for the different variations of whoever created that deck. But across the board, we all know that the Two of Pentacles represents this, and that symbol that comes up and that image that comes up that we all understand and we all can relate to comes directly from the Rider-Waite 9 times out of 10. Of course, there's some deviations to that norm. So that's why the Rider-Waite is my favorite card, my favorite deck to work with. The symbolism, again, is something that I study and I teach my students again and again for a specific reason. It's because it's ripe with symbolism. I truly believe that the symbols that were chosen by the elders and the ancients are connected to all types of esoteric knowledge that is hidden within the tarot deck, and that's something that can be found when you work with the Rider-Waite specifically. So it's just really easy to work with, even though learning it is not the easiest. I will say that. There's a lot of symbolism that is ignored and is missed and goes unnoticed. But again, that's why we have things like the Sacred Circle Tarot School for those to learn and to grow from, because you will not miss those symbolism. You'll keep on learning and growing as you go along, and certain things will stand out to you and make themselves apparent. And again, that's why this is one of my favorite decks to work with, is because there's so much hidden within this deck. There's so much symbolism, and it's the easiest and the best to read from. Now, don't get me wrong, if you have a personal favorite deck that you like to work with, for example, my first tarot deck was not the Rider-Waite. My first tarot deck was the Goddess Tarot. And I chose that because at that time I was working on healing and working with my own goddess energy and connecting with the goddesses that I was gravitating towards that time. So I didn't get my hands on a Rider-Waite until like 10 years later. And I have a good amount of years. I think I'm at 16 plus years of studying the tarot professionally. It's probably 17, 18 now at this point. But either way, I didn't get my hands on a Rider-Waite deck until much, much later. And the reason why it took me so long was because I did not like how vintage the images look. And there's so many vibrant choices out there. But as far as me personally, this is my favorite deck to work with. In fact, when I work with my clients, I'm always working with the Rider-Waite, always. And I have 2 Rider-Waite decks sandwiched together of the regular size. And I also have 2 Rider-Waite mini cards that I work with, that I travel with and shuffle a lot. The only reason why I haven't been using those lately within the last 2 to 3 months is because they have become so frayed and kind of beat up because I've been shuffling them for a very, very long time. That some of them have even ripped in half. So that's the only reason why I haven't worked with that deck. And it just makes me so sad. The mini deck, it just makes me so sad to have to get a new deck and just break it in and work with it all over again. If you would like to see me make a video about how to break it in a new deck, I'm more than happy to do that. Just give me a thumbs up and comment down below. Now, one of my second favorite decks to work with is, speaking of goddesses, is the Goddess Oracle by Doreen Virtue. This is what the cards look like. They're golden, golden yellow. They have the golded gilded edge on the side, which I find stunning, and I love that. When I create my own tarot deck or oracle deck, depending, because I'm going to do both at some point in the near future, it will for sure definitely have this gold edge. I love it. I'm obsessed with all decks that have this gold edge connected to it. So I find it so stunning and beautiful. This is what the deck looks like on the outside, the oracle deck. This is what it looks like on the outside. It's by the great Doreen Virtue. She's killing it in the oracle game. She has so many oracle decks. I'm like, wow. Wow. She has this unicorn oracle deck that I really, really want. If you guys want me to make a video on decks that I currently want, that I don't have, and why I'm dragging my feet on getting them, give me a thumbs up and comment that down below, because I have about 6 that I want that I'm not buying for myself. And I've been wanting them for a while, but I haven't bought it for myself. And it's not because I don't have the money, it's because of my own personal reasons. But we'll talk about that if you want me to talk about that. Just let me know what you want to talk about. But either way, the Goddess the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck is one of my favorites to work with. And this is because I love the goddesses that she chose to symbolize certain things within the deck. And I love what she chose to be each card's message. So when you're creating an oracle deck, you have to decide, okay, what card is, how many cards are going to be within that deck? And then also, which one? Why are these cards the most important? And that's what I love, is the cards that she chose within this deck. And it's very hard to narrow it down, but I feel like she did a really good job. This deck has really been beat up. There's a stain here, but I shuffle from it all the time. Kalima always showing up. Hello, hello. And this card, Easy Does It, which makes a lot of sense for me now, because it's like, hey Jess, you've been working over 14 hours now. It's time to relax, time to chill. It's like, can't stop, won't stop. So yeah, I just love this deck. I love the colors. I love the pictures. I love, even if you don't want to spend too much time looking into meanings, and that's a good benefit of working with the oracle, is that you don't have to take too much time to, explore the messages and the meanings of the oracle. It's pretty much there for you to know, and written there on the bottom. Her deck specifically, let's see if I could do this. Her deck specifically comes with a quote, and you can read that on the bottom. The image is there, and the title, and the goddess that she chose at the very top. So I just love it. This is one of my favorite decks to work with. Whenever I pull it, I always understand right away. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get what it is that you're saying. Also, as a woman, I love the fact that I can channel the goddess energy, and I say, okay, which one of the goddesses from this deck, has a message for me? What do I need to hear right now as a woman in order for me to take care of the goddess that I am? And I shuffle from that deck. And this is something that I do personally for myself. Not every day, but maybe every other day, or maybe every 4 days, I'll ask, okay, me taking care of myself, if I am a goddess, what message is it that I need to hear right now? And it's divine passion. Be honest with yourself. What is your heart's truest desire? My passion, obviously that's what I'm doing now, talking to you guys, even though it's pretty late and I should be going to bed, but it's my passion that keeps me going and keeps me fueled. So of course, after this video is done, I will take a nap, I promise, I swear. Moving forward, one of my next favorite decks is a deck that I am absolutely obsessed with. And it's Flowers from the Dead. I love how she designed this deck. I love that she did not put meaning and explanation to what each card means. That's because when I'm teaching tarot classes and when I'm talking to people about the oracle, I push people to step away from books and step away from what others have been telling them, and to rely more on themselves and to get comfortable with working their own intuition. And my students love me for it because it helps them to connect with themselves and also to pull up these subconscious memories that only they have. So I love the fact that she was able to do that, and she brought that energy and essence into her oracle deck. And I bang with that, like I vibe with that. I love also the fact that these cards are so dark. I love that she's working with skulls. I myself love skulls. I have one here in his little home. So it's just, I love the art behind it. I love the illustration. I love the simplicity. I love the darkness. I've been pulling this card a lot, this Moth and Attraction and Lust card. Just really, really dig it. They're stunning to look at. You're supporting a local artist, or even though she's not local to my area, but she's an artist within our community. So her deck is just absolutely stunning. When I pull this card, it's just basically like, what's the energy for today? Jealousy and grudge. Which one of y'all is hating on my video? I'm just kidding. But when I pull this card, pretty much I say again, what is the energy of today? And it's the Fox. Also, which is connected to patience and harmony. It's like, it gives you the chance to kind of put the pieces together, put the pieces of the puzzle together for yourself without having to go and read the book that comes with the oracle deck. So you really do have to rely on your own intuition and what it triggers within you. And that's something that I love with Flowers from the Dead, is not only the illustration, but how it looks, how it feels. I love that it's small and fits in my hand. I love the style of it. I love the concept. And this is hands down, one of my favorite oracle decks to work with. If I had to choose between all of these oracle decks that I have in my collection, if I had to choose one, literally this would be it. And that means something. That means something because I'm very much a perfectionist, and those words should not be taken lightly. My next favorite deck that I like to work with, I feel like we did 2 oracles, so let's go back to the tarot, is this, oh my gosh, and this came to me as a gift. So outside of that meaning something so much to me, I love gifts. Most people do. But when someone gives me something, I cherish it and I hold on to it forever, even if it doesn't mean anything. I already know that when I have kids and they make me macaroni pictures, I'm going to keep that macaroni picture forever because of the memory and the fact that they did it and they thought of me, and it was a gift from them to me, and I'm just going to cherish it for the rest of my life. And that's outside of the fact that this was a gift and I'm going to cherish it. It's a stunning deck. It's one of my most prized possessions. If it ever gets in the wrong hands, or if anything ever happens to this deck, I will literally cry. I just feel like you just can't replace it. It's a stunning deck. It is the Visconti Tarot, extraordinary examples of Renaissance art that is captured within the tarot deck. And it's a stunner. Again, it's that gold gilded image. Look at that, you guys. That's money. That looks like money. I love black. I typically wear black every single day. I'm wearing black now. Black and gold are my favorite colors. The only thing that I feel like this deck is missing is that golded edge, but just because the deck itself is so gold in general, look at the moon card. For real? That's stunning. When have you ever seen that? You haven't. No, I'm just kidding. You may have, but this deck is so, so beautifully done. The one thing that I have to say about this deck is that you have to get used to it, because you'll have to get used to the symbols. So this is obviously 10 of Cups. What's really nice to see this card jump out, but it's me, I'm still getting used to it. It's like, okay, well, which one's the front, which one's the back, because they're very busy. But the cards that stand out to me the most are the major arcana cards. So again, the moon card. Let's see what else we have in here. So this is the Ace of Swords. It's not in English, although it's written here in English. It has the different languages here on the edge. So it does take me a little longer to take time to sit with it if I do a reading from this deck. In all honesty, I have not, from the time that I've had this deck, I have not done a reading on myself or a client, like a full-blown spread of a reading. I shuffle and will work with jumper cards with this deck. I just find that I don't want to use and abuse this deck as much as I would the Rider-Waite. The Rider-Waite is my working deck and the deck that I use for myself, you know, to pull readings for myself, to go in-depth reading. This deck is one of those prized possessions that I'm like, look, don't touch it. I'm not allowing other people to touch it. I'm going to be very selective about who is around it and if I will even allow them to hold on to it. This is just one of those things that I even have the case. The fact that I still have the case in itself, because I always get rid of the case. I don't like to hold cases unless it's for my oracle decks, because I have so many of them. But this deck is, again, one of my prized possessions. It came to me as a gift from my mother, and I will hold on to it and cherish it until I die, and then give it to my children and tell them, do not give this to anyone. This deck needs to be passed on from generation to generation. You don't understand how special this deck is. All right? So that's one of my favorite decks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And the last one of my favorite decks, last but not least, is the Ascended Masters Oracle deck. Interestingly enough, I've had this Oracle deck for a very long time, probably maybe a little less longer than the Goddess Oracle. But I have shuffled from this and the Goddess Oracle the most. And I love it, again, because the Ascended Masters, and again, this is by Doreen Virtue. I believe there's 44 cards within each deck, but each Ascended Master that she chose is so significant and so important and so wonderfully chosen. Good job, Doreen Virtue. If you ever hear this, I've been a fan of yours. I want to work with you. Hit me up. One day, I already know we're going to work together. Look out for me. I'm coming for you. Not in a creepy way, but we're gonna talk. We're gonna meet together. I already know. It's a prophecy. So anyways, yeah, the cards that the masters, the Ascended Masters that she chose, they mean something. They touch my heart every single time. The people that she picked. Jesus here. Who is this? Yeah, good luck. Well, whatever, teacher. Look that one up. I butchered that person's name. But this is one of those cards too that they come. You learn so much too when you work with these oracle decks, because it teaches, it makes you push out and branch out to learn about the elders that have come before you and the wisdom that they brought and the connection to why Doreen Virtue picked them and why, and the symbolism that she connected them with. So I love the fact that she chose Jesus as open your heart to love, because he's so compassionate and so understanding and forgiving of everyone and judged no one and always approached it with love. So I love that he was chosen for that. Krishna as finding the blessing in your current situation, and just like the information and the Ascended Masters that she chose, you learn a lot when you work with this deck, the Ascended Masters. And also, of course, it comes with a guidebook that you can learn and read a little bit about, but she doesn't really dive into their backgrounds as in depth. Of course, how could she? It's an oracle deck, so if you want to do the work and the research yourself, I highly recommend it. But the oracle deck is so awesome because And also for the goddess oracle, the goddess guidance oracle cards, because you'll pull that card in that moment and get that message and see that symbolism. But then if you do a little digging and say, okay, I want to learn more about this goddess, then you'll see why she showed up outside of what Doreen Virtue within her deck and within her booklet that she included within her guidebook. When you do your own research, you'll see even more why that card showed up for you and the additional messages that it has. Okay, so that's my 5 top favorite decks that I work with often, the most often. If you would like to see me make a video about the differences of tarot and oracle, I'm more than happy to do that as well. Just let me know what you guys need and I will provide it. We'll talk soon. Bye.